Now, quite honestly, when making this video, as of right now, I ran out of ideas, and like honestly, I am so tired. But like, I still wanted to make a video for y'all. So welcome back to another video, guys. Today, I'm gonna be doing, my official predictions for Xander Zayas versus Jerome Boots, aka also known as the Pursuit of Greatness. I love this matchup, bro. This boxing match is gonna be so good, bro. This is such a good boxing match. Because on one hand, you have the talent and skill and abilities of Jerome Boots Ennis, someone who's 35 and 0 with 31 knockouts and has been running through everyone, right? Lima gone, Stanionis gone, Chikudzian gone, Avanesian gone. He's just been destroying everybody, and he really hasn't met anyone that's been able to meet his match essentially. But then you got Xander Zayas in the other corner, where he's a naturally bigger fighter. I think he's walking around like what 180, 190 around there. 23 and 0, 13 knockouts, has good power, respectful power, has already beaten another champion in Barao, who held the WBA. He's also beat Teixeira. He's also beat Garcia to get the WBO, I think. And this is such a good fight. I mean, you have the 23, 23 aged Xander Zayas, unified champion, by the way, WBO, WBA at 154 with Jerome Boutennis. So, who do I think will win this fight? Quite honestly, I don't think this fight will be close at all. And here's what I mean. I do think Jerome Boots will win by absolute masterclass. And here's what I mean. When you really break down these two fighters, it can be a toss up, but for me, since I follow logic and I like to see the analysis, I do think Boots will be too much and too much experience and too much essentially in general for Xander Zayas. Because Xander Zayas, I don't believe he's fought anyone like Boots. I mean, Boots is so skilled, he's able to switch from southpaw to orthodox. He has great power. It carries up to 154 as we saw against Lima. He also has, that dog in him. He's a very live fighter. And Xander Zayas, we've never seen him really hurt. We've never seen him, get on one knee, be knocked down or anything. And he's big as well, like he has his abilities as well. He has proper pop in his power, you know. He's very good with the basics, very good jab. He has very good movement. However, I do think that Jerron Ennis is just I think there's a massive skill gap in this fight. And even though people were saying that Xander Zayas, this is a early fight for him, against Jerome Boots, I do think this is going to be like a situation where it was like Mayweather and Canelo fighting. I do believe that Jerome Boots will make it look easy. I'm not saying that he's gonna knock him out like in 3-4 rounds. I'm saying that he'll make him look easy. As for my official prediction, I do believe that Jerron Ennis, I believe he does get the stoppage. I will say later rounds. I do believe that he gets the stoppage later rounds, possibly due to a body shot. I don't think he'll hurt Zayas to the head. And even if he does, Zayas is way too proud. Puerto Rican blood, bro. Like, he's way too proud to just stand down on one knee and then say, nah, no mas. Nah, he's too proud for that. So he's going to get up if he gets hurt to the head. But a body shot, man, you can be the toughest of dudes. But if you take one good liver shot or one good solar plex shot, nah, that's it. That's game. And we've seen Boots consistently switch it up to the body and to the head before. We've also seen him go against, I would say, more better opponents. I mean, Stanionis, that was for the Ring Magazine and Unified 147 titles as well. We've also seen him go against former champion Avanesian. Then we see him go against 2 fights with Chikudzian. Even though he just lost against, what's his name? He just fought an Irish dude. I forgot his name. He fought, what's his name? Croker. Yeah, he fought Croker. He just got beat by the Irish dude. But Chikudzian was a very good fight. He was especially in the second fight. I mean, he was making Boots, I'm not saying that he made him look human because Boots was still incredible, knocked him down in that fight. However, I will say that Chikuzian did make Boots, he Boots made a lot of mistakes in that fight. I can't lie. I personally had like 117, 111, 118, 110. Oh, before the knockdown, 118, 109. But, Boots looked good in that fight, but he did show some cracks in the armor. Obviously, he didn't get hurt. He didn't get knocked down or anything major like that. I'm just saying some chinks in the armor, nothing too serious. But I just think that Boots just has more experience essentially. I mean, he's had more fights obviously, but at the same time, he's also had enough time to mature and grow into his man strength. And I think that would play a big part with Zayas. Zayas is a big dude. He's very, very strong. But physically, I could see him maybe take too much of a back step when the movement comes. I mean, Boots, he do make a lot of mistakes in the feet sometimes. He be getting overconfident. I can't be lying about that. He be crossing his feet. He be walking a little bit weird, whenever he's pressing up in his opponents. And Zayas has good movement. Zayas has very, very good movement. I do think that in order for Zayas, if he's gonna win this fight, I do think it'll be by the movement, and I think he's gonna have to try to outbox Boots. Easier said than done. However, I've seen everything this year, man. I've seen Taporia lose, Hamza lose, Marab lose. I've seen so many miracles, and I know it's MMA. Boxing's different, but I've seen so many upsets happening that I just can't even imagine what's going to happen next. I think Boots is the favorite right now, but I could see, like, since this fight way, I could see it being like a 50-50 coin toss right now. But it's just that my only problem with Zayas is that I just think he's too young. And when I say that, I think it's going to be like the Canelo Mayweather experience again. I do truly mean it. I mean, you have Zayas being the youngest unified champion ever in history. And then you have Boots coming up from 147 with the destruction of Lima at 154, like last October, I believe. I mean, you're only as good as your last fight, I understand. Barao, 12 rounds with, split decision with Zayas, and then you see Boots destroying Lima. And I know boxing math doesn't work, the combat math doesn't work. However, if this prediction goes wrong, I'm gonna look so dumb. That's the only thing I could say. Man, it's because Boots, man, he's the boogeyman. I mean, he's just different. I mean, he destroyed Lipinus in 6 rounds. Then he went, and then he fought Roman Villa, who beat Rashad Ellis. He beat Ellis, and then beat his ass. It was terrible. And then he's done this to so many other elite opponents. And you can say whatever you want about Boots, that he's fought cans maybe his whole career except for his last few fights. But, Zayas, he was taken for the top rank promotion as well, so you could say something about that. But for my personal prediction, I do got Jerome Boots in this. Late stoppage by a body shot. I do think the body shots will accumulate. I do think that the body shots will also stop the movement of Zayas. Zayas, I think, will try to pressure with his physicality, and will try to make it like a dogfight essentially. But I think Boots is just too smart for that. I think if that happens, Boots might use his own movement as well. Might move around the ring a little bit. Who knows? Who's moving around the ring a lot against Stanionis. So that could happen as well. And then I could see Zayas, try to use the jab, try to outbox Boots. But I feel like Boots is going to be too smart for him, man. I feel like both of these dudes, they have great they have great fight IQ. Like, they're very, very smart. We're not seeing two dumb dudes walk in the boxing ring. Obviously not. We're not seeing that. We're seeing two elite high fight IQ dudes boxing it out. I just think Boots just has that IQ gap with him. We've seen special fighters over the years. I mean, we've seen Pacquiao, Mayweather, Crawford, Canelo. We've seen special fighters, Shakur even. We've seen special fighters, and we've seen how they adapt and how their IQ is just levels above, the rest of the division, and ultimately like the rest of the boxing world. And I think come June 27, I do think he'll prevail again with Boots. I think he's just too smart. Everyone's talking about the physicality of Zayas and then how Boots will handle that. But I do think that this boxing match will be handled with IQ. I do think that Boots will be able to make the adjustments better compared to Zayas, and ultimately we'll be able to come to the punch first. We'll be able to think of a solution first, and ultimately I do think that he'll be able to solve the Zayas puzzle piece. Do I think Zayas has a chance in this fight? Yes, of course. I mean, he's big, obviously. He's strong. He is the unified champion, so he does have that coming in. He doesn't have that chip on his shoulder. So we could always see an upset here. We could always see Zayas box beautifully, or even get a knockout himself. I mean, he got pop. Like, everyone disrespects his power just because he's been decisions like many times, unlike Boots. However, he has respectable pop, or else everybody will be walking through his punches. So you can't say that he got no power, because he do got power. So we could always see Zayas get a knockout himself. I mean, shit. Boots is hittable. Boots is hittable. Boots, he has incredible defense, but he leaves himself so vulnerable when he gets overconfident. That could be his downfall as well. You know, Ultimately, if Zayas does get the knockout, I could see Boots being very confident in the first few rounds. Feeling out Zayas, be like, oh man, he not that good for real. You know what I mean? And then come the later rounds, he drop his hands, and then Zayas all of a sudden could hit a miracle punch or just break down Boots if he puts his hand down. Something like that could happen, something like that. But ultimately, the reason why I say IQ will win this fight is because Boots, I don't think he'll do that. I think he fights to the level of his opponent, which we saw against many people. But I feel like for this fight, he's going to be completely locked in. I don't think he'll do any stupid mistakes. I don't think he'll showboat until after the fight. And ultimately, I do think that he gets a stoppage later by a body shot. I don't think he's too smart. He'll use the IQ that he has, his God-given abilities. And ultimately, I think he'll break down Zayas to the body and then ultimately get the stoppage later on. So that's my prediction. Later on, stoppage by body shot. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this analysis, leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment too. I ran out of ideas for math, and ultimately, I didn't know what to do. So I just wanted to analyze this fight because it was coming up. It's a very good fight, man. I'm so excited for this fight. I mean, you got Ben Whitaker on the other card too. Oh, that's going to be a good card. That's going to be a good card. But thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed, like, share, subscribe, and goodbye.